Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Room of Requirement. My name is Megan, and I have over 25 years of occult and esoteric study and practice. And today I'm going to be talking about embracing our true nature as a divine spark embodied and embracing the ego and your higher self to step into authenticity. So I'm going to be talking a lot about how the ego and the higher self are actually one and the same and how they're connected and how we can step out of fear and into authenticity when we embrace these things. So a lot of times in the spiritual community, we're always told, in the New Age community that we are supposed to dissolve the ego and get rid of the ego. It's actually quite the opposite. So I want to take a deeper dive into that. So this is part of a series that I'm doing. This is the fourth one. The three that I did before, this one is how to integrate expanded awareness, what is embodiment of the soul, and authenticity on your spiritual path. And I think, these subjects are really important right now, especially as we are going through the big shift, as they call it. And so I hope you guys really enjoy this one and see things from a different perspective. I'm really trying to show people a different perspective on all of these spiritual subjects that are like deeply ingrained in us when we're learning. So when you get up into the more advanced stages of your spirituality, these things are going to start to be more apparent to you. You're going to start to think differently as your awareness expands, your consciousness expands. And so I think this is a really important subject. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so embracing the ego and the higher self, a path to authentic living. So harnessing spiritual power to overcome fear and conditioning. Esoteric spirituality offers profound insights into the journey of self-discovery and authentic living. Central to this journey is the understanding and integration of both the ego and the higher self. By harnessing the power of these two aspects of our being, we can step out of fear, break free from the conditioning of traditionally held beliefs, and align with our true nature, which is our soul. This process enables us to become confident and unafraid to be our true selves, living authentically on our spiritual path. So now more than ever, it is super important to live authentically. That is what's going to help you integrate your expanded awareness. Fear is the number one thing that holds everyone back in all aspects of our lives. And things are changing, and it's time for us to take control and stop living in fear and try to think outside the box a little bit from all the conditioning that we've learned from childhood all the way up until now. I just feel this huge shift happening, and that everybody is waking up en masse. There's so many people that are, have been on this path for a while, some that are new to it. And so the series is designed to help both of those groups. I don't like making comparisons at all, but I just I want to make that clear. But I'm just saying, I think nobody really talks about these subjects in the way that I've come to understand them recently. So I just really want to give people a different perspective. Something to think about, food for thought, right? Okay, so understanding the ego and higher self. Your higher self and your ego are connected. We're usually taught that they're separate, but I've perceived them as the same thing. So it is the most authentic version of yourself. Your higher self is the manifestation of your ego. Your ego is a repository of all of your past lives and experiences that make you, you. And this is the true you. You are a soul. You are not from here. You're physically here, your body is here, but we are from the other side. That is our true home, the void, source, essence, God, whatever you want to call it, the etheric. And so that's what I mean by that. It has been molded and shaped over time through everything you have experienced on the other side and every life that you have ever lived, going back to your original creation. Your journey is yours and yours alone. It is not something that needs to be dissolved or overcome. It is your blueprint. It is something to be cultivated and pulled from to help attain self-realization. So we're also taught that, collective consciousness, that we're all the same and we all come from the same place, and that is true. We all come from source, but we need to recognize our individuality as a soul, as a sovereign soul, that is powerful and that it has meaning, and we are powerful in ourselves. We are divine spark of God. As individuals, we seem like we're separate, even though we all come from the same source, but we need to realize that we are powerful in our own right and that nothing has dominion over our soul. So that is my whole point to all of this, is to kind of bring this new thought to, to people for a different perspective. So understanding the ego and its connection to the higher self. The concept of the ego has intrigued philosophers, psychologists, and spiritual seekers for centuries. So we will explore how the ego is interconnected with the higher self and how it serves as a repository for our past lives. Contrary to popular belief, the goal is not to dissolve or eradicate the ego, but to work with it to step into our authentic selves. The ego definition and function. So the definition, the ego is often defined as a part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious, and it is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. As its function, it helps us navigate daily life, offering a sense of individuality and self-awareness. The ego and the higher self. The higher self is often seen as the true essence of an individual, a wise and loving source of inner guidance that transcends the ego. Connection. The ego is not separate from the higher self, but acts as a bridge between our earthly experiences and spiritual awareness. By understanding and integrating the ego, we can access deeper truths about who we are. The ego as a repository for past lives. Past lives. The concept of past lives suggests that our soul has lived through multiple incarnations, acclimating experiences and lessons. The ego's role. The ego can be seen as a storage house for the memories influencing our current life through subconscious patterns and behaviors. So it's everything that we've experienced on the other side, all the lives we've ever lived, even the experiences we've had on the other side. We bring those into our physical reality in our bodies and integrate them in our soul. Our soul is connected through our electrical system, our meridian system, and so our bodies and our soul are one and the same. They have a specific frequency or imprint that is specific to our body, and that, our body holds our soul. So when we bring our soul into these physical bodies, we retain everything that we've ever experienced in both places, past lives, other dimensions, other realms, everything. It's all within us. So there's nothing really separate. It just seems that way. So working with the ego, integration, not dissolution. Instead of dissolving the ego, the goal is to integrate it into our conscious awareness. By acknowledging and understanding our ego, we can align more closely with our higher self. The authentic self. By working with the ego, we can peel back layers of societal conditioning and ego-driven fears, allowing our authentic selves to shine. Utilizing the ego to remember who we are. Self-reflection. Engage in practices like meditation and journaling to explore the ego's narratives and identify patterns. Mindfulness. Cultivate present moment awareness to observe the ego without judgment. Shadow work. Embrace the aspects of the self the ego may want to hide, which can lead to a fuller understanding of the self. It's not an enemy. The ego is not an enemy. The ego is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a valuable component of our psyche that, when understood and integrated, can lead us to our higher self. By working with the ego, we can access the wisdom of our past lives, embrace our authentic selves, and step into the fullness of our being. Carl Jung's insights into archetypes provide a framework for navigating this journey, offering guidance and clarity along the path. If you haven't studied Carl Jung's work, I would highly suggest that you do that. This will come full circle and help you to understand this and how we embody the archetypes and the symbols in our subconscious. Okay, so the ego. The ego is often misunderstood as merely a source of pride and self-centeredness. However, in esoteric spirituality, the ego is seen as a necessary component of our human experience. It is the part of us that navigates the physical world, maintains our individuality, and helps us to survive. While the ego can sometimes lead to fear and separation, it also holds the potential to be transformed and aligned with higher purposes. The higher self, on the other hand, is our connection to the divine and the universal consciousness. It is the aspect of our being that transcends the limitations of the physical world and embodies our true essence. The higher self knows no fear, which means we need to have no fear. It lives in unconditional love, which means we need to embody unconditional love, and sees beyond the illusions of separation. By tapping into the wisdom of the higher self, we can access deeper insights and guidance on our spiritual journey. Stepping out of fear. Fear is a powerful emotion that can hold us back from living authentically. It is often rooted in the ego's desire to protect itself and maintain control. To step out of fear, we must first acknowledge and confront it. This involves recognizing the ego's role in creating fear and understanding that it is a natural response to perceived threats. So our body holds all kinds of hormones. We can train our mind to not be afraid of things, but our body is going to react. It's how we learn how to remain calm in the face of fear that we can then train our bodies to stay out of fear. And this carries to all parts of our life, like public speaking, fear of what people are going to think about us, fear of making a mistake, fear of being abandoned, fear of being rejected, all of these things. When we step out of that and into our true state, which is unconditional love, then we have nothing to fear. So that's why it's so important to learn how to step out of fear. So here are some practices to overcome fear. Meditation. Regular meditation helps us quiet the mind and connect with the higher self through meditation. We can observe our fears without judgment and allow them to dissolve in the light of higher awareness. Mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows us to stay present and grounded, reducing the power of fear. By being fully present in each moment, we can see through the illusions of fear and embrace our true nature. Affirmations. Positive affirmations can reprogram the subconscious mind and replace fear-based thoughts with empowering beliefs. Repeating affirmations such as I am safe, I am worthy, I trust the process can help shift our mindset. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity either. I'm not saying don't feel the emotions that you feel. Feel them, sit with them, but just don't let it drag on and on and on and then create dysregulation in the nervous system. It's just going to take a lot of practice. But once you do it, this huge burden just gets lifted off of you and you could live so much freer and you have nothing to fear. One of the biggest fears that people face is the fear of death. Well, if you're watching this type of video, then you probably know that we reincarnate, that this isn't it, that, we have lives on the other side. And so, we shouldn't fear death because we know where we're going to end up. But we're in constant fear of losing things, losing money, losing people, losing jobs, losing material things. So once we step out of that and, operate in authenticity and unconditional love, then we no longer have the fear of losing anything. And if we don't fear losing anything, then there's no reason for it at all. And, the powers that be would like to keep us this way. And that's why so many people are stuck in this loop that constantly goes on, keeping us in fear constantly. So breaking free from conditioning, this is also a big thing. It's really hard to do. It's easier said than done. But we are conditioned to believe certain things, certain dogmas, from childhood all the way up. So expanding your awareness allows you to recognize when this is happening, and then you can correct the problem. Traditional beliefs and societal conditioning often dictate how we should live and what we should value. These programs can limit our potential and keep us from exploring our true selves. Breaking free from conditioning requires a conscious effort to question and release these limiting beliefs. Steps to releasing conditioning. Self-inquiry. Engage in deep self-inquiry to uncover the beliefs and patterns that no longer serve you. Ask yourself questions like, what beliefs are holding me back? And who am I beyond these beliefs? Releasing techniques. Practice techniques like journaling, emotional release, and energy healing to let go of old conditioning. These practices help clear the energetic imprints of limiting beliefs. Embrace new perspectives. Open yourself to new perspectives and alternative ways of thinking. Explore different spiritual teachings and philosophies that resonate with your higher self. Recognizing your divine nature. One of the most empowering realizations in esoteric spirituality is the recognition of our divine nature. We are not merely human beings, we are divine sparks, gods in our own right. This means that we have an inherent connection to the divine source and the power to create our reality. When we operate from this understanding, we realize that nothing can harm our soul. No being or fear has dominion over our true essence. Embracing true divinity. Recognize your divinity. Affirm your divine nature and remind yourself that you are a creator. Embrace the belief that you have the power to shape your destiny and that your soul is eternal and unshakable. Operate from love. When you operate from your true divinity, you act from a place of love rather than fear. Love is the highest frequency and aligns you with your higher self and divine source. Trust your inner guidance. A lot of people don't do this. They question themselves due to all kinds of reasons, like low confidence, rejection, fear, abandonment, what people think, all of these things. But, learning how to trust your inner guidance will never lead you astray. Your higher self and intuition are always guiding you towards your highest good. Trust in this inner guidance and know that you are always supported on your spiritual journey. Aligning with your true nature. Aligning with your true nature, the essence of your soul, requires a deep connection with the higher self. This involves embracing your uniqueness, trusting our inner guidance, and embodying the qualities of love, compassion, and authenticity. Tips for authentic living. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition is the voice of your higher self. Trusting and following your intuitive nudges can lead you to align with your soul's purpose. Embrace vulnerability. Being vulnerable allows you to connect with others on a deeper level and express your true self. Embrace vulnerability as a strength and not as a weakness. Live in alignment. Make choices that resonate with your inner truth. Whether in relationships, work, or daily activities, ensure that your actions reflect your authentic self. Don't do things for other people, do them for yourself. We always do this. I've been guilty of this. Everyone is guilty of this. We do things that we think other people want us to do, and then we end up resenting people for it. It ruins relationships. It is a disservice to ourselves, and it actually leads us to abandon ourselves when we do this. Self-empowerment. The journey of harnessing the power of the ego and higher self to step out of fear, break free from conditioning, and live authentically is a transformative process. By embracing both aspects of our being, we can align with our true nature and become the best versions of ourselves. This path requires courage, self-awareness, and a commitment to spiritual growth. As we navigate this journey, we discover the profound joy and fulfillment that comes from living in alignment with our soul's purpose and true divinity. Living a life free from judgment. In the pursuit of true freedom and self-realization, it is essential to liberate oneself from both self-imposed judgments and judgments towards others. These judgments often stem from conditioned programming and rigid doctrines that limit the soul's true expression. Understanding the role of consciousness. Consciousness dictates the universe. The universe does not dictate consciousness. This profound truth highlights the power we hold within ourselves to shape our reality and transcend limitations. But by aligning our thoughts and actions with unconditional love, we can open doors to unimaginable possibilities and experience true freedom. The power of unconditional love. Unconditional love is the key to attaining self-realization. It is a transformative force that can heal, elevate, and empower individuals. When we embody unconditional love, we transcend judgment and embrace acceptance. This shift allows us to see beyond superficial differences and connect with the essence of others. Breaking free from conditioned programming. Conditioned programming and rigid doctrines often impose restriction on our true selves. These limitations can stifle our creativity, our authenticity, and our potential. To become the most complete version of ourselves, it's crucial to break free from these constraints and embrace a life of empowered individuality. Steps to liberation. Recognize and challenge self-imposed judgments. Practice mindfulness and self-awareness to identify conditioned patterns. Foster a mindset of acceptance and compassion towards oneself and others. Engage in self-exploration and personal development to uncover true desires and passions. And also surround oneself with supportive and like-minded individuals who encourage growth and authenticity, not ones that tear you down, drain you, make you feel like crap, or toxic. So just do some house cleaning. Embodying unconditional love. By embodying unconditional love, we act in accordance with our highest selves. This practice not only liberates us from judgment, but also opens doors to new opportunities and connections. It fosters an environment where true freedom and self-expression can flourish. Benefits of unconditional love. enhanced relationship based on mutual respect and understanding, greater emotional resilience and inner peace, increased creativity and innovation, a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. And this also doesn't mean don't demonize others that aren't at that level. You can always reach your hand out and show them, true, authentic, unconditional love, even if you disagree with what they're doing or what they're saying or how they're behaving. It's kind of our duty and our mission as these beings that are living authentically to reach out and try to pull up other people that may not be at that level. That's also important to do. Don't totally discredit them. They've just they have just fallen further away from love, and that can always be redeemed. Okay, so just act with complete integrity when you're interacting with these people. I know it's hard, especially if they're your family. So in conclusion, living a life free from judgment, both self-imposed and towards others, is a transformative journey that leads to self-realization and true freedom. By embracing unconditional love and breaking free from conditioned programming, we become empowered individuals capable of reaching our fullest potential. This path opens doors we'd never imagined and allows us to experience life in its most authentic and liberating form. Self-imposed fears limit the soul, freedom of expression. Nothing can harm us unless we believe it to be so. This goes for all aspects of life, including the supernatural or the paranormal. If when we're dealing with the paranormal or have profound spiritual experiences or come across something that is negative, a being that is negative, usually, people on our spiritual path, they might have experiences where you see things that are scary and things like that. Just know that when those things happen, you have dominion over your own soul. Nothing can harm you unless you believe it to be so. So don't be afraid of these things when they do happen. That's what I mean by the supernatural or the paranormal. Okay, like in dreams or, out-of-body states, sleep paralysis, all these different types of things. Okay, so. All right, you guys, I hope you really enjoyed this one. I hope this really helps empower you and see things from a different perspective. If you guys have any questions, please drop those in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this, what your experience is with this. You guys can always email me. I tutor and mentor and teach, so if all my links are in the description. Until the next time, I will see you guys on the next video.